Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to talk about DAX and how to use context index. So in DAX, context is a fundamental concept that greatly influences how calculations are performed and the results are derived. Understanding context is crucial for effectively using the DAX in Power BI as it determines the values that are considered during calculations. So there are main two types of context. The first one is the row context, and then we have the filter context. If we talk about the row context refers to the content of a single row in a table. It is created when text formulas are evaluated row by row basis. This is commonly in calculated columns and iterators. Now, what do you mean by iterators? So we have seen some of the functions like sumx, average x, and mean x. So these kind of functions we have already used. Now, this is very common when creating a calculated column. Each row has its own context. For example, if I'm going to give you an example, so that can be multiplying the quantity per unit price. So let's say that you are having a table. So I quickly pull up the table. So over here, we are working with a sample sales data. And over here, I'm having two columns. The first one is the quantity. The second one is the unit price. Now, let's say if you have to find the total sales or the total price for an individual record, what would you do? You have to multiply the quantity with this unit price. That would give you the total price of a particular order. So over here, you can see I have already created a column which shows me the total price for this particular order. Now, in this, what exactly happens is that every row is having some values, and those values define this particular order's total price. So over here, you can see the operation that would be performed would be row by row basis. So for example, if I talk about the second order over here, also I have to multiply this quantity by unit price to get the total order amount. So whenever you are having these kind of things, it would be known as the row context. So our Power BI will know that row by row operation has to be performed over there. Some of the examples were average x, sum x, and other. Then if we talk about the other context, which is the filter context. So for this filter context, what exactly happens is that it is a set of filters applied to the data before evaluating a DEX expression. So let's say that whether you are having the data which is for 4 years or 5 years, how would you evaluate the data if you are applying any filter on the top of it? Let's say if you want to find out a specific year sale in that, what would you do? So basically you have to apply filter in that, and that would be known as the filter context. It also determines which rows in the data model are included in the calculation. That means that let's go again back to this sample sales data. So over here, I'm having this order year, and this order year is ranging from 2020 and up till 2024, it's coming over here. Now, let's say if I'm applying filter and if I'm only interested in the values related to the 2023 sales. So it would be not meaningful for me to just calculate all these results, even if I'm applying any row-based filter. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to apply some filter context over there. And after you have applied any filter context, what exactly would happen is it would filter the data according to your need. So let's say if I am only interested in the sales of 2023. So at that time, I can just put the filter over here, and then it would only calculate the values accordingly. So these were two of the context over here. To give you a practical idea, what I will do is over here, you can see I'm having this total price. So let's say if this total price column wasn't there, if I just delete it and you have got the data where only you have the quantity and the unit price, what exactly would you have done? You would have gone to the new column option, and over here in the DEX function, you would have first given the name as, let's say, total sales, and it would be the quantity multiplied by the unit price. Now, both of these are in the sample sales table. So I will write sample sales, and here I am talking about the quantity multiplied by sample sales, and then we will be taking the unit price, and that would basically give me the total order price. So hit enter. So this is how we will get the total order value by multiplying quantity and unit price. And over here, you can see this row by row operation has been performed. Now, again, if you don't want to use this kind of function, you can always use the other functions. Let's say if you want to find the total sales, which is done by the complete orders over here. So in that case, you can provide some X function also if you don't want to work like this using these X functions. Now, if you are trying to find the sales for a specific year, let's say I have already created a filter context over here, which is the sales for 2023. How would you do it? So again, if I just show you this function, so over here, first you have to apply any kind of function that you want to do. So here I am using calculate function. And what do I want to calculate? First of all, I want to calculate the sum of the total prices. Now it would first calculate the sum of total prices. Then I will specify the kind of filter that I want to use. So the filter that I want to use is that order year should be equals to 2023. So in this way, it would give me the result of that particular year only. Now how both of these are different. So I'll quickly show you. First, I have to rename this column because we deleted our previous. So for that, what I'll do is I will go over here in the report view. Let's create a card. So the first one was for the total sales. So if I just drag and drop this total sales over here, you can see the total sales is coming 9,166. Now this includes the complete orders list. It is counting every individual order in every year. If I just talk about the filter context over here, so I will again create a card, and over here, I will drag and drop this measure, which is the sales for 2023. And now you can see it is only giving me the orders which were placed in the 2023. So the sum of sales over there is 1395. So this is how you will be using the row context or the filter context. Basically, it is just a concept of which thing you want to use and how it is executing. So this was all for this session. In the next session, we'll be talking about how can you take the effective measures so that your Power BI visuals load effectively, and also using these DAX functions, how can you make these processes smooth. Thank you.